Welcome to the Antler Queens, the most inclusive Yellowjackets podcast where we shove peace, love, and Yellowjackets down your beautiful goddamn throats. We also speak candidly about important social issues as they relate to the show, such as mental health, trauma, bigotry, etc., because these conversations are important. I'm Kelly, lick my legs keen.
I'm Jazzy, don't tell Akila how to do her inhalants shamanic.
I love that.
Thank
So
you.
cute.
That's one of my favorite Sunny jokes, period.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, tell me how to mix my inhalants, bro. He's like, immediately passes out.
Oh my God.
So funny.
I swear to God, we should just we could have a podcast where we just not even recap particular Sunny episodes, just talk about Sunny in general.
Could I ever? Maybe we can replace their podcast.
And it's mostly just us quoting the show.
I could do that for more than an hour. That's a problem.
Yeah. I'm gonna talk about why I went with this nickname when we're done recapping. Because for those of you who aren't familiar with the song at the end of this episode, I'm gonna explain why that line is so important, at least in my opinion, as far as my interpretation of one of my favorite songs ever.
It's a great song.
Oh my God, it's so fucking good. PJ Harvey is in my top 3 easily. But the one song that I need to be in this show so badly is Long Snake Moan by PJ Harvey. Because I think it's just so perfect for this show.
It definitely fits the theme.
Oh my God, it so does. But Rid of Me is almost as good. But we will talk about that a little later. For those of you who are not familiar with us, who are just finding us for the first time, welcome. We the way we do things here is that we have our audio podcast, The Antler Queens, and then we also are on our YouTube channel, Cyborg Queen Media. So whether you're listening to this or watching this, now you know that the other format exists, and you can go find us there if you want to. The Antler Queens audio podcast is available wherever you listen to podcasts, and you can find us and see our lovely faces on the Cyborg Queen Media YouTube channel. We also started, if you're listening to this, we also have started incorporating screenshots throughout the entire recap. So if that's something that interests you and you haven't been tempted to check out our YouTube channel before, then, that might be something that you'll enjoy. But the way we do it is we mark the chapters. We start with a very detailed recap. And with the way we recap it is we do the timeline separately. And then we do a discussion after that, and the chapters will be marked. So if you're not a recap person, if you'd rather just listen to us discuss and theorize over the episode, then you can just skip right past the recap if you want to do that. And then all the fun stuff like the MVP and the Sassy Award and Zuba's Award and everything is at the end. But should we just jump right in?
Let's do this thing.
All right. Also, very important announcement. This is important for our YouTube viewers only, not for the audio podcast. YouTube has changed the way that ads work now, and I've been picking where the ads go. I've been trying to pick them as much as possible, but unfortunately, they apparently have to be approved by YouTube, which is really, really stupid. I mean, if you're choosing where your ads go, you're not going to pick them. You're not going to pick a really bad place for an ad, but YouTube still has to review them. So if you hear us say that we've got an ad break and then we don't, and then an ad break just randomly comes up, it's because YouTube is being a butthole and hasn't approved our pre-selected ad breaks, and they're just throwing their own in there. So
Why do they need to approve our ad breaks?
It's so stupid. I don't know why,
Do we
but
not throw to commercial hard enough? Like,
yeah.
okay.
It's if you guys could comment and if like just comment and let us know um how the ad experience is going for you, if you're still getting ads in weird places, that would be perfect. We do sometimes once in a while forget to announce an ad break, but we still I still put them in places where we're not breaking in the middle of a sentence. So if you could just let us know how the ads are showing up for you, that would be awesome. Um, and yeah, with that, let's jump right in. Starting off for the first time this season, we're in the adult timeline. We open with Misty in a very misty-ish place, the morgue. She's surrounded by dead bodies and tries to bargain with the coroner for Lottie's personal items. He refuses as she's not next of kin, but Misty says she's her sister in all the ways that matter. The coroner remains unmoved, but luckily he's a fellow citizen detective, so Misty has the dirt. She threatens him with the knowledge that he has stolen items from the deceased and sold them for a large profit on eBay instead of returning them to their family members. Defeated, he takes off to collect Lottie's items, and Misty takes advantage of his distraction to take samples from Lottie's corpse, including pulling some hairs out from under her fingernails. He returns with the bag of items and passes them to Misty, who takes off to gather the remaining Yellowjackets. Back at Misty's, she addresses the assembled, excluding Shauna, and tells them all that Lottie has died. Everyone is shocked, or at least pretends to be. Misty says the coroner ruled it an accident, but she thinks something is fishy. Shauna immediately points the blame in Misty's direction. Misty is incredulous. Why would she murder Lottie and then gather everyone at her house to have a meeting about it? Both Shauna and Van agree that, while odd, the behavior isn't necessarily off brand for Misty and doesn't rule her out as a potential murder suspect. Misty is furious at the suggestion, reminding Shauna that they worked together the previous day. Shauna points out that Misty left early and no one knew where she went while she got locked in a freezer. Misty says that she'll solve the murder on her own because that's what Natalie would have done, and none of them are her friends if they think she did it. She storms off quickly before realizing she's storming out of her own house and turns around to kick the girls out. Once alone, Misty sorts through the trash bag of Lottie's belongings, but is unable to find her phone. She calls the coroner to see if it was left behind at the morgue, but he tells her that Lottie's body was found without the cell phone. Misty hops in her car, which is being tailed by Shauna, who is in turn being pursued by an unknown car. Deciding to end the game of cat and mouse, Shauna stops short and the car rear ends her. She hops out of the van with mace in hand, ready for action. Walter hops out of the car, confessing that tailing is not one of his stronger talents. He believes that Shauna, since she killed Adam Martin, also killed Lottie and is following her to protect Misty. Shauna reminds him that both he and Misty have a body count and asks how she doesn't know if he's the one that murdered her. Walter is intrigued by Shauna's line of questioning and invites her to go Nancy Drewing with him. Tai and Van are out to lunch. While Tai is calm and breezy, excited to order food, Van is having a hard time processing Lottie's death. She asks Tai why she went to see Lottie that day. Tai sarcastically asks if Van thinks she murdered Lottie and then ran back to meet her at the pretzel cart. They're interrupted by a call from Simone, and Tai steps out to take it. Misty, wearing Natalie's jacket, sneaks into Lottie's building and heads downstairs to investigate the stairs where Lottie died. She finds a scratch on the wall and pulls a hair sample out of her pocket to compare. Coming up empty, she heads back upstairs to interview the man working the front desk. He mourns the death of the little girl he's watched grow up all her life, or offering Misty a Lottie Pop in her honor. He also reveals that Lottie has been living in her dad's penthouse for at least 2 weeks, contrary to what she told Shauna. Misty infiltrates Lottie's father's penthouse, bringing chocolate rougalash and posing as a concerned neighbor. Misty charms her way into the penthouse and manages to check Lottie's coat pockets for her phone. Instead, she pulls out a receipt from her bank showing that Lottie had withdrawn $50,000 from her account the day she died. She continues to explore the penthouse for clues, only to find herself beaten to the punch by Walter and Shauna dressed as internet technicians. Misty is furious that Walter is rebounding with Shauna, But they announce that their relationship is strictly platonic, and Shauna has appointed herself the new sheriff citizen in town. Misty notices that Walter is copying Lottie's internet history and mocks him for taking the easy way out. He asks her to join forces, but she refuses. So Walter agrees to let the best citizen detective win. Misty tries to outwit Lottie's dementia sufferer father to gain access to her bedroom. Walter attempts to run interference, but Misty is able to get Mr. Matthews to send them outside to run some new internet wires in. Ty and Van meet Simone and Sammy at the park. Ty thanks Simone for agreeing to the meeting, but she says that Sammy has been asking for her. Van sits on the bench with Simone and has an uncomfortable chat while Ty tries to talk to Sammy and Steve the dog. Sammy grabs the dog and walks back to Simone, and they hurry out of the park, seemingly afraid of Issa. Shauna and Walter discuss their next move now that they're relegated to the hallway. Walter spots Mr. Matthews' nurse throwing away the apartment's trash. Shauna is frustrated with slow going of their investigation. She questions why Lottie would come to her house at all when she has the penthouse. Walter suggests she probably needed a friend, but Shauna says it was much more complicated than that. Walter suggests that Shauna isn't a good judge of what friendship is. She points out that he is throwing off Misty's investigation, but he claims that's because he's giving her what makes her toes curl, a challenge. Shauna says she wouldn't be surprised if Walter killed Lottie in order to get Misty's toes off. He offers to exchange DNA samples with Shauna, giving them mutually assured destruction, which can be devastatingly effective. Shauna declines, and Walter lunges, trying to get one of her hairs. She storms off, regretting her decision to team up with him, but forgetting the hat part of her internet installer costume, from which Walter is able to retrieve a hair. Misty finally catches Pager in Lottie's room, finding her cell phone in the bed. But it's already been factory reset. Checkmate, Walter says, walking into the room. He's already cloned the phone before he reset it, but he'll share his findings with Misty if she asks. She asks him why he's doing this, and he asks if they aren't having fun. Angrily, Misty tells him that she can't believe she allowed someone as disgusting as he is to bathe her precious Caligula. Walter is stung by this and tells Misty he'll see her around. Storming out of the Matthews apartment, she passes Shauna and announces that she and Walter deserve each other. And we are going to take our first commercial break. Shauna enters Lottie's room and is hit with the flood of memories of both her adult and teenage forms. She appears to be grieving when she's caught from behind by Mr. Matthews, who, in his confused state, mistakes her for teenage Lottie. Shauna plays along and tries to comfort the confused elder gentleman. They have a painful heart-to-heart, and Mr. Matthews apologizes for not truly understanding his daughter. Shauna admits that sometimes it's hard to show love the way we want to. She gives Mr. Matthews a big hug, seemingly grateful to have shared this special moment with him. In Sammy's room, Issa is remembering her confrontation with her son. Sammy asks if she's not his mommy anymore, and she tells him that she'll always be his mommy, no matter what. But Sammy is unconvinced. Van comes in and apologizes that the park didn't go the way Ty wanted, and Ty suggests getting out of that.
Kicking off just after the opening credits, we see the Coach Scott Detention Center and Petting Zoo. The coach is bound and tied to a log surrounded by bunnies. Akila carries a baby goat, and Ben attempts a very one-sided conversation, offering her tips on raising the now orphaned kid. He plies her for information about his fate, but she doesn't know anything. At camp, Natalie argues with the other girls about the proper method of disposing Ben. Lottie gives Ty Javi's drawing of the outcome. Shauna suggests that since Ben wanted to burn them alive, they return the favor. Natalie proclaims that to be inhumane, but Melissa backs Shauna up, and Shauna is pleased with her support. Natalie decides on a firing squad, quick and humane. They decide to draw cards to choose an executioner, settling on the King of Hearts as the decider. Van leads the group in a game of selecting a card. The tribe shows their cards one by one until it is revealed that Ty has drawn the king. Out in the woods, Van has drawn a frowny face on a tree approximately the height of Coach Scott's head, and Ty is practicing aiming the gun at him. She sees a flash of Ben's face in happier times and puts the gun down with a gasp. Tai complains that this exercise isn't helping because it's just a stupid tree, but Van protests that her drawing looks just like Ben. Tai is hesitant, being uncomfortable with the weight of swinging the sword for the sentence that she fought so hard for. Van asks if she still believes that Coach is guilty, and she agrees that she does, but it's much easier to say that than it is to do it. Van suggests they try to reach Issa and have her carry out the task. Van compares Tai and her counterpart to Steve Urkel and Stefan Urkel. Annoyed to be cast in the role of the dorky TGIF favorite, Tai still agrees to attempt to summon the elusive Issa. Shauna sits alone in the woods, sharpening her knife, when she is approached by Melissa, who has forged a proper gift for lesbian courtship. Inside is a makeshift cardboard gift box and some lovely berries in a handmade leather sheath for her knife. Annoyed, Shauna asks why Melissa even likes her. Melissa admires the growth that Shauna has experienced in the wilderness. She appreciates how she's embraced the bad sides of herself and is fearless now. Seemingly moved by Melissa's words, Shauna thanks her for the gift and sheathes her knife in its new home. Misty tentatively brings the tied-up Ben dinner, a whole fish cooked with greens. Ben is delighted with the upgrade in meal service and asks what he did to earn such an honor. Tearfully, Misty confesses that the firing squad is coming at dusk. She falls to her knees and begs for forgiveness, apologizing and saying she did everything she could. Ben tells her that he knows she did, and she stands to hug him. They both cry. Ben takes in the fact that this is the end. A bit disappointed, he'll be remembered as a rogue monster who tried to burn down a cabin full of teenage girls. But at least here he'll be remembered, unlike the real world where he won't be remembered at all. Misty protests that Ben was decent and kind, her first boyfriend and amputation. At least she will remember him fondly. She weeps openly, telling Ben she'll miss him before she says goodbye. Lottie tries to press the hesitant Aquila back to the caves. Lottie says she believes there's more answers to be found there, but only for Aquila. Lottie promises that she and Travis will protect her as she travels to the caves. Aquila agrees, and they head out. Tai and Van discuss methods for getting Issa to come out of hiding. Van suggests listening to the trees, and they both laugh. She teasingly suggests that sex has brought Issa out before, using it as an opportunity to get into Tai's pants. Aquila, Lottie, and Travis discuss their plans to help Aquila do inhalants. Once they finish their safety meeting, Aquila prepares to head into the cave to huff gas. Travis asks if maybe they shouldn't call this off, but Lottie reminds him that it was his vision that led them here. She asks if he still believes Aquila is the wilderness's chosen vessel, and he sheepishly agrees. He tells Aquila that he knows it seems scary, but he'll pull her out as soon as she faints. She thanks him, telling him that he's the only person that she's sure she can trust. This deepens Travis's guilt about using Aquila to get Lottie off of his back. Taking a deep breath, Aquila steels herself and heads in. Post-coitus, Tai pretends momentarily that the attempt was successful and she is now Issa, but then laughs at Van's frustration. They decide to head back, resigned to Tai's fate. Before they leave, they hear a rabbit caught in a trap, and Van suggests giving the wilderness the other thing that it wants: blood. Tai picks up the poor little bunny and slits its throat as Van walks her through one of Lottie's guided meditations. Tai tries to stay in the moment with the dying rabbit, and suddenly the wind picks up and something seems to come over them both. But even this doesn't summon her darker half. Aquila asks how far into the cave she needs to get. Travis instructs her to return to where she had her last vision, letting her know to pull the rope letting her know he'll pull her out once the rope goes still. As Akilah heads deeper into the cave, Travis begins to get nervous and wants to go in to get her, but Lottie refuses to allow him. The rope stops and they run to retrieve her. Travis carries her back to the safe point of the cave and try to revive her, but she isn't waking up right away. Lottie holds up her hand and tells Travis to give her a second. After several terrifying moments, Akilah finally sits up, taking a gasping breath. She recounts her vision of a giant version of Coach Scott, suspended over a deep chasm, his body acting as a bridge that she uses to walk across back to civilization. Lottie asks her how the dream made her feel, and Akilah said that she expected to feel fear, but only felt hope. Back in the animal pen, Coach Scott sits next to his untouched dinner, cuddling the orphaned baby goat and staring into the sky, contemplating his fate. He hears a voice in the distance that he believes is his boyfriend Paul, when the girls come for him and throw a bag over his head. He struggles as they pull him up easily and take him to the execution stump. Fighting back tears, Natalie removes Jackie's heart necklace and puts it around Ben's neck. He begs them to stop, telling them that they couldn't possibly want to do this. Everyone is in tears as he begs them to reconsider. But Jen tries to put the bag back over his head, but he shakes her off, demanding that if they're going to do this, they're going to look him in the eye. Jen leans into his face and tells him he doesn't deserve it before pulling the bag back over his head, leaving him to plead in the dark. Issa takes the gun from the weeping Natalie and begins to aim. Ben's begging has become weeping as he continues to beg her his life from the silent crowd. Tai cocks the gun and is shaking violently with terror when suddenly she becomes still and calm. Van calls out her name, but it's Issa's voice that responds, "It will be okay." Tai fires, but at the very last second, Lottie leaps forward, knocking the gun into the air as Travis pushes Ben to safety. Lottie insists they can't kill him yet, that he still has purpose. Akilah arrives, still panting from the gas, announcing her vision to the other Yellowjackets. Coach Scott is a bridge. He's our bridge home. He's our bridge home. Everyone immediately begins to weep as they reckon what just almost happened. Later in the evening, a deeply disturbed Ben sits tied back in the animal pen, angrily rubbing his gums. Melissa and Shauna enter the pen and creep up to him. Ben reminds them that Lottie has forbidden them from killing him, and Shauna passes her knife to the protesting Melissa, telling her to do it and not to be afraid of the bad parts inside herself. Rid of Me by PJ Harvey plays as Melissa grabs Coach's good leg. He begs for her to leave him alone and tries to fight her off, but in one swift motion, she cuts his Achilles tendon with Shauna's knife, leaving him screaming in agony and permanently lame. Shauna and Melissa walk back into the camp where the rest of the team is assembled, listening in horror to Coach's screams. Shauna tells Natalie that the coach won't be going anywhere for a while, and Natalie reprimands Shauna for enjoying it so much. Shauna tells Natalie not to act like such a fucking saint, and takes Melissa's bloody hand in front of everyone and pulls her back to her yurt to spend the night together. Van clocks the rival lesbians with surprise, and Travis looks anxious as his female counterparts appear to be growing in power. The group separates and heads to bed, trying to ignore the sound of Coach Scott screaming as the fire dies.
What a fucking needle drop!
Yeah, incredible. Incredible needle drop.
Sorry, like, I know I'm biased. Like,
No.
PJ Harvey is my queen.
If you don't like PJ Harvey, I don't like you.
Yeah. PJ Harvey is my fucking queen, but what a fucking needle drop. Oh,
great episode.
So I just want to get that out of the way because I was so like, I've never been so excited about hearing a song in a show.
That's going to be both of our needle drop of the week. I don't think.
Oh, yeah. That's like my permanent favorite needle drop.
I can't even remember any other music from this episode.
Me either.
Yeah. That's the one. Great needle drop.
But what's so great about the song is, so I've always wanted Long Snake Moan to be in Yellowjackets, but Rid of Me is almost as good. And it's just it basically, she wrote it when she was going through a breakup and she was exhausted from touring. And it was just like, she just put all of her scariest emotions into this song. And the song isn't necessarily comparing her to like a praying mantis, but it's like supposed to give off that energy, which is why the line "lick my legs" is repeated throughout the song, because praying mantis's legs are covered in spines.
Yeah, that's fascinating. I like that.
But yeah, it's just, oh my god, it's such a great song, and it is just so perfect for this show in particular.
It
So
took me a second to figure out what it was until I remembered that was the song that closed out the show.
I actually have a T-shirt somewhere that says "Lick My Legs" on it from when I went as PJ Harvey for Halloween. But
that's a good Halloween costume.
Yeah,
it's
but
one of those ones you're gonna have to explain all night, but still, who cares?
I think I mean, I haven't worn that shirt in a very long time because I think I don't even know if I could get my head through it. I was pretty fucking skinny back then. But whatevs. But just so awesome. This episode in general is one of my favorites of the series.
So yeah, I would agree. It's up there for me.
Yeah.
That ending, bro. Whoo!
Oh my god.
It's wild.
Holy shit. So I'm writing a script right now. I'm writing a video essay script about how I think Jeff is secretly the big bad of Yellowjackets. And this episode, I'm going to be referring to this episode quite a bit because we saw two completely different sides of Shauna in this episode. Like, just such polar opposites. And basically my theory is, now there's a lot of Jeff hate online. I actually think Jeff is a great fucking character, and I
love Jeff.
I love Jeff.
Love Jeff.
But I think his shitty decisions, I don't think any of it, I don't think he's like this evil, malicious character, but I think he's accidentally the big bad.
It's weaponized incompetence.
Weaponized incompetence, yes, perfectly.
Yeah.
Perfectly. Yeah, that perfectly sums him up. Shauna is so fucking brutal in this episode, Teen Shauna. But if Jackie were still around and she had never gotten pregnant and lost her baby and Jackie was still there, would we see her like that? I don't know. And why is Jackie dead? Because of her fight with Shauna. Because Jackie found out Shauna was having Jeff's baby. So Jeff is the reason for all of this.
I mean, at least the catalyst, if not the direct cause.
I know.
Yeah,
and
that's crazy.
You saw how much compassion she had for Lottie's father.
You gotta wonder, if Jackie never died, would they ever have turned into cannibals? Would they have gotten there without that push?
I don't know.
Or they just starved to death first?
I don't know. But I'm more so okay, we saw Jackie die. We saw Laura Lee die. they're trying to kill Ben. I don't think Ben's gonna make it.
I don't think so either.
I mean, not with Shauna there.
Yeah.
Not with Shauna there.
No, I don't think Shauna will have it.
Which makes me think that Akilah isn't making it out either.
I know Akila's not going to live. I know Akila's not still alive, but I don't think if Akilah dies, it will be from like being hunted. I don't think she'll end up a sacrifice. I think she'll die.
Yeah.
Huffing gas, probably doing something stupid to try and help everyone.
Oh God.
Because the Antler Queen dress doesn't have a lock on it. Like none of the hair is locks, so I feel like she's safe from at least being eaten by her friends.
Yeah. That's true. I just want to bring this up really quick.
Yeah.
Walter's license plate. Not Walter.
Not Walter. It's not Walter following you, I promise. It says it right here.
That's so fucking brilliant.
I did not catch that until you showed. That's so funny. I loved Walter and Shauna and Misty this season. Their whole dynamic. They're being like, you deserve each other.
They were so great.
Yeah. You're rebounding with her. I love Misty.
Oh my God. Yeah. That whole scene was great. I love the way Misty reacted when Walter was like, let the best citizen detective win.
I'm a sheriff citizen now.
Oh, her response was so great. Yeah. I also want to bring this up. So what do you think about Lottie withdrawing $50,000 from her savings account?
Travis's money, right?
Oh yeah. It is, isn't it?
It's yeah. So she did it leave her account empty? Or does it say? It just says the withdrawal amount.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but that's Travis's money. That's how much went missing from Travis's bank account, right?
Yeah.
Right before he died.
Interesting, because that's also the same amount of money that Jeff demanded when he blackmailed them.
Yeah. Oh. Now there's a wrinkle.
Oh,
interesting.
boy.
Interesting.
What is with the
$50,000? Yeah.
Why is $50,000 like floating between characters?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Oh my God.
I hope I'm right about that. I'm gonna have to go back and look, but I feel like that's how much was transferred out of Travis's accounts.
Okay.
The day he died.
Gotcha. If it wasn't, it's almost even more interesting because exactly $50,000, the same amount that Jeff got.
Jeff was after.
I mean,
did he owe money to the local mob? Is that what they were implying with the blonde lady? Okay, yeah. Jeff has no dark side.
Oh man, I am. I'm going to be up all night thinking about this now. I also want to give a shout out to Gustav Klimt is one of my favorite artists.
Oh, nice.
So I was really happy to see this painting featured in the episode, Death and Life. And I thought it was a great choice for, I thought the painting was a great choice for this show.
It's lovely.
Just a couple other screenshots that I wanted to pull up really quickly. I love the way.
There's the one.
My girlfriend Simone is back
She said, "Oh, it's you."
Yeah. I love the look on her face.
Yeah. I love Simone. I love that actress.
I do too. She's great.
I'm sad that she's not
And
anymore.
this is perhaps I honestly don't know what scene is more shocking in this episode. Melissa slicing Ben's Achilles or this scene in the park with Tai and Sammy.
Yeah. I was surprised they put Sammy in at all. Yeah. I was not expecting to physically see Sammy, or if we did, it would be like on a computer screen or something. But and he was like crouched down the whole episode, like, bent in half the whole time that we see him. Do you think they digitally edited him short her?
I don't know.
It kind of looks like that to me. Not like bad, like they did a bad job or anything, but I'm sure that kid is pretty tall at this point.
Yeah.
It's been like 5 years since they shot the pilot.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
His voice sounded the same though. He did it. It was so nice to see him. And confirmation that Steve the dog is alive.
Yes.
I think everyone's happy about that.
Yes, for sure. His acting was not as strong as it was the last time we saw Steve. Like, you know, he delivered that really Emmy worthy performance in the crawl space.
Yeah.
And I thought that he was a little flat in this episode.
I think he's just coming back from a paternity leave, so I'm sure he's a little wiped out.
Yeah. Probably.
Actors.
Yeah. But we can't fault him because dogs are perfect.
He's real cute.
Yeah, like what the fuck, man? So have we just been seeing Issa?
I think so. I don't think that we've seen Tai since the finale of season 2. I think it's been Issa the whole time. Sammy clocked it immediately. He was like, "No way, no thanks, bye-bye, I'm out of here."
I mean, he wanted to see her.
Huh?
Like, they made it clear that he was the one who wanted to see her.
Asking to see his mom, yeah.
So it's not like Simone was forcing her on him. He wanted to see her.
Yeah.
And she shows up and he's out of there. Like,
I love how like Simone, as soon as like Sammy was like, "No, I'm done," Simone was like, "Let's get." She like didn't try to like, "Oh, spend 10 minutes with your mom. You haven't seen her," like anything. She was just gave her child so much agency. It's nice to see.
Yes. Yeah, it really was, because that's such a problem, unfortunately. Yeah. That's a huge problem for a lot of families. I
don't believe in the give your uncle a hug.
Yeah.
Types. It's not my bag. Yeah. I'm not hugging your uncle.
Yeah, that was definitely very nice to see. Sorry to our audio listeners. Does this picture of Lottie just not look like her?
Is that Lottie?
It's supposed to be.
I don't think that's Lottie. Is that even? I see the scar.
Yeah. Why does she look like that?
I don't know.
She looks nothing like Lottie.
I feel like that has to be her stand-in.
Yeah.
That doesn't look anything like Courtney Eaton.
So I'm not losing my mind.
No, I think that has to be her stand-in or like photo double, and they just forgot to switch the picture out by accident or something.
Yeah,
I bet that's a production error.
That's very strange.
Yeah, that doesn't look anything like her. Maybe it is, and we're just both drunk. Like, I don't know.
It'll be interesting because we're recording this ahead of the early we're recording this ahead of the streaming premiere, so they might even fix it by then.
Yeah, we should go in and check.
Yeah.
When it drops.
Yeah, that's happened before. I still want to know that this is not a production error or anything, but it's made me think. I still want to know why the fuck they removed the line "It was chicken" from the episode in season 1 where Jeff asked Shauna if he was like, "You were kidding about the chili, right?" And she was like, "Yeah, of course. It was and she laughs, and she's like, "It was chicken." They cut
They
that
cut that out?
Yeah, they cut the
I
"it
didn't
was
remember
chicken."
that.
Why would they cut that out? That's such
That's
a
so
weird
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's off topic, but it just
It's
reminded
the
me of,
it's the same show. Um, yeah, that's weird. I wonder why they cut that out. Doesn't she just say nothing now?
No, she says, "Of course," like, in response to,
Yeah.
"You were kidding, right?" But they cut out, "It was chicken." I don't know why. So strange. But, yeah, so what did you think about,
I
the scene
loved
with
this scene. I
Yeah,
loved this scene.
same.
I'm a little torn because I kind of feel like Shauna killed Lottie.
Do you?
Um, I'm leaning towards it. I don't want it to be her, but I feel like there's a lot of evidence there. But um, I mean, either way, she's grieving her loss in this moment, and it's really beautiful that she can like see that that Lottie's dad is suffering
Yeah,
and not processing it, and tries to give him something to help work through his pain.
yeah.
It's just a beautiful moment, and I love that they got Courtney in there. Yeah,
Yeah, it was really
great
cool.
scene. I don't know if I've ever seen that actor that played Lottie's dad before, but he was like lovely.
Um, by the way, why did they retcon where she lives?
Did they?
It was she clearly was not living in a penthouse when we saw the pilot. Well, it was the pilot, so shit that like that changes.
Where
Like
were they living in the pilot?
you almost can't even really like call
Yeah,
stuff that was in the pilot retconning because I
they
mean it
don't
was
have like it's like if the show hasn't been greenlit, then they don't have like their official stages and set and everything yet.
yeah.
Um, but where did she live in the pilot? I don't remember. I know she had like
We
her family has money. That's all I only remember.
we saw a scene of her
At the
um
kitchen table, right?
yeah, at the dining room table and there was a big giant window next to her and there were sheer curtains so you couldn't see too much of the outside, but you could definitely tell that there was like it looked like a suburban lawn, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Um and yeah. But also I mean it was a penthouse. You like the it's in New York, right?
Yeah.
So why would she be
Yeah,
going to
Lottie's in
school?
Manhattan.
Why would
Yeah,
she
that
be
doesn't
going to
make any
school at
sense.
Tech?
No, they say it in the episode that once Lottie's parents divorced, her dad moved into the penthouse and her mom
Oh,
moved, yeah, out away. So
okay.
they moved since Lottie was a little girl.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Um, but yeah, I mean, Walter taking Shauna's hair, obviously there has to be some payoff there.
Yeah.
Um, but if there is, I feel like I don't know. I feel like that might be too obvious.
Yeah.
Um,
That Shauna did it.
but she did go into
The
the
city.
city
Yeah.
and
She doesn't have great control of her temper. After Lottie gave Callie that necklace, I thought she was going to stab her right there. So,
yeah.
yeah, I don't know. There's a couple theories, but I can't talk about any of them yet. Other than I kind of am leaning towards Shauna did it.
Do you think I mean, she went into the city, so she seems like
So
a
did
good
Ty.
candidate. So did Ty.
Yeah, we don't know where
But
Walter was.
but um Shauna okay, let's say that Walter has the DNA tested, has the Hersheyron DNA tested, and it comes back positive. What do you think the chances are that it could be Callie?
I was thinking that too, like they do an OJ, and it's actually Callie's DNA.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's one of my suspects. She's one of my 4 suspects. 5 suspects. I guess technically 6.
Who are all your suspects?
Okay. I Shauna, Callie, Walter. One I can't talk about. Everyone at the Purple People, the entirety of the cult is one suspect. And I guess someone, yeah. The entirety of the cult is one suspect. And did I say Tai already? Tai, Shauna, Callie, Walter, everyone in the cult. I think that's it. Yeah, and like one person I can't really talk about yet. Or the stalker. We don't know who the stalker is still, technically.
I think there's a good. I'm still, man. I am still super suspicious of Walter.
Yeah, I totally think Walter could have done it. The way that he's like trying to alienate Misty from her friends and become the focus of her life. I definitely could see him getting rid of Lottie because he considers Lottie dangerous, and then pinning it on Shauna because he knows Shauna's dangerous. Yeah, so like if it comes back from Walter that it is Shauna's DNA, like I wouldn't take that as a necessary positive. I feel like he would be willing to lie about that just to get back into Misty's good graces. But we don't know Walter that well.
Yeah. Yeah.
It might be, well, I should say Issa, because I don't think Ty's been here at all. But I can see Issa doing it because she was frustrated that Lottie didn't give her the answers that she was looking for. It could be Callie for the same reason. And also, like, maybe, I don't know. I know Callie was desperate for more information, especially from Lottie.
Yeah.
And I could see her getting really frustrated with Lottie and something like had an accident happening. But yeah, I don't know how Callie would have gotten to Manhattan in the middle of the day though.
Yeah. Yeah.
And back.
I feel like my biggest suspect right now is honestly Walter.
I think that's fair.
And I think that he may try to frame Shauna.
Yeah, I could see that. I'm on that wagon too.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many things about him that just don't add up at all. What did you think about Mr. Matthews insisting that he said something like it was an accident, and if so and so
they hear anything otherwise, the insurance won't pay out.
Yeah,
that's fucked up. There's also that big theory that Mr. Matthews caused the plane crash on purpose, because he, didn't want to deal with his psycho daughter.
I cannot get behind that.
Yeah, no, I don't agree with it. Like you're gonna murder an entire soccer team and a bunch of parents because there's surely cheaper and easier ways to get rid of your daughter. But yeah, there's that theory out there that it's Lottie's dad that caused their plane crash or had it rigged their plane or did something to it. But yeah, I really liked getting to see that whole argument between him and Lottie, and him like want to understand you.
I just don't
I
understand
just
why he would
can't.
say
Yeah.
that. Like, why he would be like, why he would be so insistent about it being an accident. And
Like, it's not like they need money.
right.
I don't know. Wealthy people just hoard money. That's what I've.
I mean, that's so super weird.
Yeah.
Okay, what is it about like all of these characters? We saw this in Misty's house and in Lottie's bedroom. Why do these women in their 40s still have like pictures of their high school soccer team framed and sitting around?
That's pretty weird. I mean, they did go through something pretty traumatic.
I know.
So maybe
But
in this one instance I could understand it, but yeah, it is a little weird to have a framed picture of your high school soccer team in your adult home.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, it's
yeah.
with Lottie, I could forgive it a little bit more because it seemed like her room just had never changed.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, that
but
was all that Misty ever wanted was to be included in that group of girls. So I could
yeah,
see her keeping it too. I think that they'd be the only ones though. I haven't
yeah,
seen it in anyone else's house.
yeah. Shauna doesn't have any in
No.
her
She just has
house.
Jackie's uniform
Yeah,
stashed
yeah,
away,
yeah. That's
which is
about
even
it.
sadder.
um, but yeah, it was heartbreaking to see Shauna like remind us that she has this compassionate side. Um, and then to see her brutality, like because of the trauma that she's gone through.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
it's it's super heartbreaking.
Man,
Um,
I read the saddest comment on Reddit the other day. That was like, do you think that after Shauna had Callie, she would be constantly waking Jeff up in the night to go check and see if she was still real? Like,
oh my god.
it broke my heart so bad. Can you imagine? Like, I'm sure I can't imagine she ever let Callie out of her sight for months. Like,
Holy shit.
yeah,
Dude, I'm surprised that she had a kid.
yeah, me too.
Like
I'm sure Jeff wanted it. I'm sure Jeff really wanted it, and she just went along with it.
like you talk about somebody who would be a perfect candidate for severance for their pregnancy. I will allow it for Shauna.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. Shauna's Annie
Jesus,
would probably not have that great of a time anyway.
Jesus Christ, man. I can't. I, I wonder. I mean, I wonder if Callie was an accident um, or if she was planned.
I think she was probably planned, and I honestly think Shauna would have been okay with having one kid because she lost. She wants that, obviously. Like, once she lost her baby, it was devastating to her, and like that it is
Oh,
something she
I lost.
wanted really badly. And I think maybe she thought they'd have a lot of kids, or she, like, once she opened herself up to the idea, definitely I think Jeff wanted kids, and Jeff would be the person like pushing her into it. But I think she would have been okay with having one kid, but then the actual physicality of it would have been really difficult for her, and she'd have a lot of postpartum issues.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get to explore some of that in the later seasons.
Um. Okay. Here's a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
So why like the main survivors that we're following around today.
Uh-huh.
We've seen Lottie's father. We haven't seen any family members of. We haven't seen like any brothers or sisters of Tai or her parents, but we did see her parents in the first season as a teen.
Yeah.
We know Van's mother is dead.
Yeah.
And
the Sudeikis, or not Sudeikis, I don't know what Shauna's parents. The Shipman's dead?
That's what I'm thinking. We know nothing about Shauna's or Misty's parents.
We never talk about Shauna's parents.
And we don't know if they have siblings.
Yeah.
I
don't think Shauna has siblings.
See,
I feel like that would have come up by now.
I feel like it would have too, but like, I was always so convinced before that she had siblings because, or at least one sibling, because of the attic bedroom. It just seemed like such a older sibling thing. You know?
Oh, that's true.
Because typically that happens. Typically kids move into the attic because they want their own space because they're too cramped with their siblings.
I could just see Shauna wanting that space because she's like an artsy rebel girl and she wants to decorate her own stuff. Yeah. I could see her taking that just for the hell of it, not because she needed to.
Yeah.
Jeez, man, that was so creepy. I need to drink some tea or something. Excuse me, audience.
But it's just interesting to me that we've never heard anything about her and Misty's parents, and I'm wondering if, like, I'm wondering if that's deliberate, if they're like holding something back from us.
I don't know.
But I'm just like, I'm obsessing over Walter taking this hair from Shauna and like who it could possibly be traced back to. And I'm just thinking, like, what if Shauna has a sibling or something, and Shauna
throws them under the bus.
What's that?
Throws them under the bus.
No, like Shauna doesn't have anything. Shauna's estranged from her family or something, and one of her siblings is like just unhinged in a really bad way or something, and like is stalking her and her friends. I don't know.
That's an interesting take.
But yeah, I'm just thinking from like the DNA perspective. But yeah, I need to go back. It's funny because like, and I'm sorry, I'm like bouncing around from subject to subject so quickly.
You're good.
But I want to go back really quick and talk about Tai.
Yeah, that's where I was headed next anyway.
But before we do that, let's just take a quick commercial break. And okay, and we're back. And yeah, so let's go back to this Tai thing.
All right.
So I pointed out before that I was pretty sure we were seeing other Tai, and I think we talked about this on the show actually, that it was likely other Tai in the restaurant when she and Van were in the restaurant.
Yeah. I think it's been other Tai the whole time. I don't think we've ever had regular Tai back.
So do we think that there is, if this is in fact other Tai,
mm-hmm.
do you think that there's something, that there's like one event in particular that just like caused this takeover of other Tai?
I think it was the hunting finale at the end of season 2. You see it happen when when Shauna pulls the card and they do the pan around the room. You see like Tai shift into Issa, like it's visible, and I don't think she's gotten back. Like I think that like reenacting their like wilderness days had allowed Issa to completely take control of her, and she's like fully in charge now.
Yeah. And that, if that's the case, then again we can trace that back to Jeff, because
Yeah.
he blackmailed them all.
Yeah.
He blackmailed them, which eventually led them all to Lottie's compound.
Yeah, that's what he did was the catalyst for that.
Yep. He's the catalyst for every bad thing on this show happening. Just about. Except the actual plane crashing. Watch us find out that. Yeah. Watch find out that like there's something that he was somehow responsible for that too.
Jeff crashed the plane.
Yeah. Seriously.
I believe. I'm a Jeff's crashed the plane truther.
But yeah, I like, do you think that it was the whole hunt, or do you think it was Van popping back up into her life, or do you like?
I mean, she starts losing control during the Senate race, right?
Yeah.
Like she starts having, we've heard that before that she wasn't having these sleepwalking fugue state, whatever. So I mean, it may have just been triggered by the pressure. It's starting over again, or as like PTSD response or a panic response or whatever. I mean, there's like a lot of people who say there is no other time. There is no Issa. She's just crazy. She's just mentally ill. Like she's just, what's the correct term for it now? Not multiple personality disorder.
Oh,
but
dissociative identity.
Yeah,
disorder.
dissociative identity disorder.
Yeah.
Sorry, geez, I don't know what's going on with me. I've been sick for like a month and a half.
Gosh.
But yeah, there's like plenty of people who say there is no Issa. She doesn't exist. They don't say Issa because we're the only ones who are cool enough to use that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think that what made the official cutoff was them deciding to hunt again. I think that's what gave her the boost in power or whatever that she needed to be able to like fully take over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like really kind of heartbreaking.
Yeah, it's sad.
I mean, I think you're right too, because Tai has seemed completely normal most of the time.
Like, I feel like she's so off. Like her eagerness, especially like Tai and Van have completely switched places from the wilderness. Like Van was the one who was like, yeah, spiritualism, let's get weird with Lottie. And Tai was, the more practical one. And now Tai is the one who's like, let's kill anyone we see.
Yeah. But I don't mean in that regard. I don't mean in that regard. I'm more like, I'm more thinking, like she sounds like Tai to me, like her voice and everything. Like she's isn't acting like she's in a fugue state or anything, she's not like, she's not making those dead facial expressions.
Yeah. She is behaving as Tai.
Yeah. So when Sammy sees her seeming like every other person, and he recognizes her as Issa, that's so fucking terrifying and heartbreaking, because like, I mean, assuming that this doesn't end tragically and Tai dies before she comes back, like, dude, this is gonna fucking destroy her.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like, for her to have just completely have been so out of control for all this time.
Lost her family. Yeah.
Holy fucking shit, man.
Like, I do feel like I probably would have left Simone But I feel like Tai would have done it the right way. I don't think she would have just bailed and set up shop with a new woman in their house. Like, that's not the coolest way to go about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like Tai would have done it differently than just running off to be with Van forever. I understand her doing it in the moment, like the impulse and being carried away by the emotions, but then I feel like she would have come back to reality and handled her shit so she doesn't lose her son forever.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And I do think Issa cares about Sammy. Like, I do think Issa wants to protect Sammy, but I don't think she's nearly as invested as Tai is.
No. She's not. I don't think she has that like protective motherly instinct.
Yeah.
That Tai.
And she'll almost let Van die to save Tai in the woods.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
She's definitely got Tai in her mind first, which is why I don't think she burned down the cabin.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I like I would love to see. I mean, have we even seen Van and Tai together in the adult timeline at all?
Yeah. I mean, in season 2, I think we have.
Okay.
I think that she was Tai most of the time in season 2.
Okay.
Until the very end.
All right. Because I was gonna say that would be really fucked up.
Yeah. Like, they have the scene in season 2 where she's having the conversation in the mirror with her other side, and she's like, "Where do I go now?" And she does the like finger scars on her face. So I do think when she got there, it was Tai, and a lot of the time they spent together in the first half of but I don't think like since they started sleeping together again, it's been Tai at all.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Yeah.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
God, it's so fucked up, man.
I really wanted to I loved Van and Tai in the teen timeline this week. I thought that their things were really fun and cute and light. And her saying, yeah, this episode where it says, no, the next episode. I have to save it. This is one of my favorite line in the whole series. And I've been really excited to talk about it, but I keep forgetting that it's coming. So we'll talk about it next week.
All right.
But yeah, the whole Steve Urkel bit was so funny.
Yes.
And yeah, I love Teen Tai and Van. They're great. Always.
You're telling me that my real self is Steve Urkel?
Yeah. I don't even get to be the cool one.
Dark She was so offended by that.
Yeah.
It was really chilling to see in the teen timeline the way she switched into Issa.
Yeah, that was incredible acting from Jasmine.
Yeah.
The way her shaking doesn't just stop. It like slowly, you see it like take over her body. It was nuts. It was like the sound cues helped, but like it was almost all physical acting, not just like
the look in her eyes was just like
the way her eyes went dark, like went from like being wet and shiny with tears to being like dissociated. Like it was Jasmine's so good.
Yeah.
What an actress.
She really is. She was incredible in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
But what's your take on Akila's vision?
I just think it was funny that they showed her on his bag so they didn't have to show her crawl over one of his butt cheeks.
That's hilarious. I didn't even notice that. But what's your take on that? Do you think it's just nonsense and because she was just high as fuck?
think that the majority of the stuff surrounding Lottie is nonsense. But I have a I don't know how to put it without spoiling anything. I don't know. This one seems to have some validity to it. I'll just say it like that. I think most of the stuff that they experience, I believe the majority of the stuff is just coincidental.
Yeah.
Is potentially even like whoever's stalking Shauna is all coincidental. Like it could just all be unrelated things, but yeah. I think maybe that particular vision has a little validity to it.
I've kind of fully jumped on board the logical train.
Yeah.
But so I'm tempted to believe that there aren't really a whole lot of meaning to these visions.
Yeah.
But the Ben one seemed meaningful to me. And because he is kind of like the last key figure that's representative in their group of civilization.
Yeah. He's the last one who hasn't given in to the wilderness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I kind of interpreted it as like, especially with Aquila having that vision, because Aquila is like, Aquila's like the softest of all of them, I mean, she's the one that hasn't gone completely brutal.
Yeah.
And Natalie too. But Aquila is probably the gentlest of all of them.
Definitely.
And with her having that vision, especially, I feel like it's what it's trying to tell her is that like they need to hold on to their humanity.
That's what okay.
Yeah.
I feel like that literally means that Ben is going to lead them home.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like that's what they're like. They need Ben still to get home. And I can't say anything else right now. I keep like wanting to like add things, but there's really nothing I can say concrete to explain why I think that. So
yeah. Do you think that because I've told you how I watch the show. I don't do intense watchings of the episodes ahead of time. So do you think so I really don't, so you probably know a lot more than me. But do you think that your reason for thinking that Ben is going to lead them home, do you think it has anything to do with Paul at all? Or like,
I don't think she knows Paul exists.
Oh yeah, I guess she doesn't, does she?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, guess not.
He definitely he heard a man's voice, and it might be just be him hallucinating.
Yeah.
But like that, like we all heard that someone yell.
Yeah,
he heard something, but he also hears shit all the time, so who knows?
Yeah. Okay, is there anything else that you want to
just Subas and Sassy's.
Oh my god, why did I almost forget?
I'm glad you're back. That's what I'm here for.
It's been a long week, man. I'm tired. But so who gets your Sassy Magazine award this week, and who gets your Zubaz award?
Oh man, what a tough week for us. I'm giving the Sassy Magazine award this week to adult Misty for taking it upon herself to figure out what happened to Lottie. Especially as Mr. Matthews has the money to push that investigation away and get what he wants, which is an insurance payout, apparently.
Yeah.
So yeah, Sassy Magazine for adult Misty. She was hysterical as her, like everything with the her and Shauna and Walter triangle was hilarious. I really enjoyed everyone's performances this week. I think the sassy is the buzz is going to young Lottie because she is a jerk. She is really getting out of hand, guys.
Yeah.
Someone needs to rein her in. She is going nuts.
I think I'm having a really hard time this week.
Yeah, it was tough for me to pick some.
I want to give out a lot of Zuba's awards this week. A whole lot of them. I actually want to give Misty a mini Zuba's award. She doesn't get the full pants. Like, I'll make her wear the shorts or something. I don't even know if there were Zuba shorts, but I'll make her wear a pair of Zuba shorts. Maybe she could do something cute with them or something, since it's not the full pant.
She could turn it out.
just for being so mean to the doorman, because he seems like such a sweet man.
Yeah. That was rude.
Yeah, I know. And she like mouthed off to him. Like,
yeah. That
this is like the exact kind of guy that you see in a TV show and you want to give him a hug.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you were mean to my grandpa, Misty, you asshole. But no, the real Zuba's award is for me is going to Melissa. Because look at that fucking smile.
Yeah.
That's diabolical. That is
she was real creep this episode.
Yeah, she was.
That's so fucked up. Like, of all the things to do to Ben.
I know.
Wow, that's fucked up. Them kids is dark.
Super fucked up.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, I'm giving Melissa the Zubas award. And I'm going to give, but I almost feel like she needs to share it with Shauna, especially because I'm going to give Shauna the Sassy Magazine award. And I feel like that's a lot to give to Shauna, so I kind of want to punish her. I want to give her the Sassy Magazine award for like being compassionate with Lottie's father.
Like dad. Yeah, that was very sweet. That and very un-Shauna.
Yeah. Even if he is being a little creepy about shit.
Yeah. I immediately get sympathetic for people with dementia.
Yeah.
It's just so sad.
Yeah. I do too. I'm just like, I'm just so creeped out by the whole insurance.
Yeah, that was weird.
Comment. But
that was bad.
Yeah, I'm giving her the Sassy Magazine award for showing compassion, and for her funny comment about getting Misty's toes off.
Yeah.
That cracked me up. She's so funny this season.
Yeah, seriously.
Oh God, she's cracking me up. I mean, the line about sending the bill to the mountain where she lays her eggs is still like just one of my favorite lines from the entire series.
So good.
Oh God, she's amazing. But obviously, best needle drop is Rid of Me.
Yeah, maybe one of the best needle drops in the series.
Oh, it's my favorite needle drop in the series for sure. Okay, I don't know if I'd go that far. It's my favorite song that's ever been featured.
I'm gonna say top 5.
Yeah,
it's in the top 5. I'm not gonna make a top 5, but yeah, it would be in my top 5.
Like, just based on the song itself, it's hands down my favorite. But the best needle drop moment for me will always be. It's funny because I hate this song, but hold on. Misty destroying the black box.
Yeah, that was incredible with the like rock hitting it with the beat. That was incredible.
Well, yeah. Well, hold on,
Yeah.
please. That was fucking amazing. I hate that fucking song so much, but
That's
that was
crazy.
like, but that was such a great moment. I loved it.
Yeah, that was an amazing needle drop.
Yeah. But anything else that that you want to
I
hit
think
before we
that's
skim
it.
along?
I love this episode.
I did too. It was
really
it's one of my
good.
favorites in the series for sure.
Yeah.
Best one yet. And I need to watch episode 6 again because I feel like I liked episode 6 better than 5 even. But I don't know because it was so fucking good.
Yeah.
But anyway, please join us Sunday nights for our lives. We're going to be joining Sci-Fi Vision this week. Immediately following the well, actually this week we're going to have a little break. We're not going to go immediately following the episode, but check out our channel, turn your notifications on, and we'll be posting sometime on Sunday about when we'll be going live. But usually it is right after the episodes air. But we also cover Severance, which obviously is airing right now. So if you haven't checked out the show, you should do so. It's amazing, and it's only on season 2. So like you could binge it in an entire weekend. And then catch up and then like join us for our lives on Friday afternoons at 5 p.m. Eastern. We also, if another show that we cover that is super fucking amazing is From. And if you check that out, come find our coverage on that. We also have a few lives up, but we don't leave a lot of our lives up for too long. So I'm going to be starting a channel membership option very soon where you can actually like if you become a member of the channel, you can actually go back and watch our previously removed lives. But anyway, that's it until next week or hopefully on Sunday. We will see you later, and peace, love, and Yellowjackets.
Buzz buzz.